not too sure. Like I said, this is live, so anything can happen. I don't know if that other part of that video will even make it up. I have no idea. It just kicked out and wouldn't resume. So, if you're just joining us again, my name is Chris Waddell. I am a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. Uh, let's just get into reading the book, just in case we get kicked off again. I was just going to say that I'm a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft, and I'm a huge fan of cats. That's something I have in common with Lovecraft. If you read many of his stories, you'll find cats laced throughout his stories, and in many ways they're usually helpful in some kind of way. You're wondering why I'm wearing a cowboy hat. It's Halloween. I was doing some work with a buddy of mine today. This has been something that I had planned on doing, but just life has gotten busy, and so I didn't have much time to plan for this today, and I just got home and I thought, okay, well, I still have time to do this, so you're getting me pretty raw, and I didn't want to wear a ball cap like I usually do, and anyway, so that's why I'm wearing a cowboy hat on Halloween. And again, I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. This story, The Cats of Ullthar, was written maybe 1918, between 1918 and 1920, I think. When it was first published, I'm not too sure. Um, that's about all I can really say about it. Nobody's joined us quite yet, so I'm going to take a drink of water here, and then we'll get underway. Okay? It's not a very long story at all. So, again, if you're joining us, thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween. And now begins the reading of The Cats of Ullthar by H.P. Lovecraft. It is said in Ullthar, which lies beyond the river Sky, no man may kill a cat. And this I can verily believe, as I gaze upon him who sitteth purring before the fire. For the cat is cryptic, and close to strange things which man cannot see. He is the soul of antiquity. He comes from Egypt. He is the bearer of tales from forgotten cities. He is the kin of the jungle lords and heir to the secrets of Ori and sinister Africa. The Sphinx is his cousin, and he speaks her language, but he is more ancient than the Sphinx and remembers that which she has forgotten. In Ullthar, before ever the Burgess forbade the killing of cats, there dwelt an old cotter and his wife, who delighted to trap and slay cats of their neighbors. Why they did this, I know not, save that many hate the voice of the cat in the night, and take it ill that cats should be stealthily running about yards and gardens at the twilight. But whatever the reason, this old man and woman took pleasure in trapping and slaying every cat which came near their hovel, and from some of the sounds heard after dark, many villagers fancied that the manner of the slaying was exceedingly peculiar. But the villagers did not discuss such things with the old man and his wife, because the habitual expression on the withered faces of the two, and because their cottage was so small and darkly hidden under spreading oaks at the back of a neglected yard. In truth, much as the owner of the cats hated these old folk, they feared them even more, and instead of berating them as brutal assassins, merely took care that no cherished pet or mouser should stray toward the remote hovel under those dark trees. When through some unavoidable oversight a cat was missed and the sound heard after dark, the loser would lament impotently, or console himself by thanking fate that it was not one of his children who had thus vanished. For the people of Ullthar were simple, and knew not whence it is that all cats came. One day a caravan of strange wanderers from the south entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ullthar. Dark wanderers they were, and unlike the other roving folk who passed through the village twice every year, in the marketplace they were told fortunes for silver, and bought gay beads from the merchants. What was the land of these wanderers none could tell, but it was seen that they were given to their wagons strange figures. Oops, I skipped the line there. Sorry. What was the land of these wanderers none could tell, but it was seen that they were given to strange prayers, and that they had painted on the sides of their wagons strange figures with human bodies and heads of cats, hawks, rams, and lions. And the leader of the caravan wore a headdress with two horns and a curious disc betwixt the horns. There was in this singular caravan a little boy with no father or mother, but only a tiny black kitten to cherish. The plague had not been kind to him, yet had left him with this small furry thing to mitigate his sorrow. And when one is young, one can find great relief in the lively antics of a black kitten. So the boy, so the boy whom the dark people called Menes, smiled more often than he wept, as he sat playing with his graceful kitten on the steps of the oddly painted wagon. On the third morning of the wanderer's stay in Ullthar, Menes could not find his kitten, and he sobbed aloud in the marketplace. And certain villagers told him of the old man and his wife, and the sounds heard in the night. And when he heard these things, his sobbings gave place to meditation, and finally to prayer. He stretched out his arms towards the sun and prayed in a tongue no villager could understand, though indeed the villagers did not try very hard to understand, since their attention was mostly taken up to the sky and the odd shapes the clouds were assuming. It was very peculiar, but as the little boy uttered his petition, there seemed to form overhead the shadowy, nebulous figures of exotic things, of hybrid creatures crowned with horned flanked discs. Nature is full of such illusions to impress the imaginative. That night, the wanderers left Ullthar and were never seen again. And the householders were troubled when they noticed that all the village there was not a cat to be found. From each hearth the familiar cat had vanished. Cats large and small, black, gray, striped yellow, and white. Old Crannan, the burgomaster, swore that the dark folk had taken the cats away in revenge for the killing of the Menes kitten, and cursed the caravan and the little boy. Take a little break here to have a little sip of water, just to catch up. Still, no one durst complain to the sinister couple, even when Atal, the innkeeper's son, vowed that he had at twilight seen all of the cats of Ullthar in that accursed yard, under the trees, pacing very slowly and solemnly in a circle around the cottage, two abreast, as if in performance of some unheard of rite of the beasts. The villagers did not know how much to believe from so small a boy, and though they feared that the evil pair had charmed the cats to their death, they preferred not to chide the old cotter till they met him outside his dark and repellent yard. So Ullthar went to sleep in vain anger, and when the people awakened at dawn, behold, every cat was back at his accustomed hearth, large and small, black, gray, striped yellow and white. None was missing. Very sleek and fat did the cats appear, and sonorous with purring content. The citizens talked with one another of the affair and marveled not little. Old Crannan again insisted that it was the dark folk who had taken them, since cats did not return alive from the cottage of the ancient man and his wife. But all agreed in one thing, that the refusal of all the cats to eat their portions of meat or drink their saucers of milk was exceedingly curious. And for 2 whole days the sleek, lazy cats of Ullthar would touch no food, but only doze by the fire or in the sun. It was fully a week before the villagers noticed that no lights were appearing at dusk in the windows of the cottage and under the trees. Then the lean Nith remarked that no one had seen the old man or his wife since the night the cats were away. In another week, the burgomaster decided to overcome his fears and call at the strangely silent dwelling as a matter of duty, though in doing so he was careful to take with him Shang the blacksmith and Thul the cutter of stone as witnesses. And when they had broken down the frail door, they found only this: 2 cleanly picked human skeletons on the earthen floor, and a number of singular beetles crawling in the shadowy corners. There was subsequently much talk among the burghers of the Ullthar. Zath, the coroner, disputed at length with Nith, the lean notary, and Crannon and Shang and Thull were overwhelmed with questions. Even little Atal, the innkeeper's son, was closely questioned and given sweetmeat as a reward. They talked of the old cotter and his wife, of the caravan of dark wanderers, of small Minis and his black kitten, of the prayer of Menes and of the sky during that prayer, of the doings of the cats on the night of the caravan left, and of what was later found in the cottage under the dark trees in that repellent yard. And in the end, the Burgess passed that remarkable law which is told by all the traders in Hathag and discussed with the travelers of Near, namely, that in Ullthar no man may kill a cat.